Cheers. Do you have water, a drink?
I have water now, but in a moment I will have wine. It just needs to be chilled.
Toasty toast.
It just needs to be chilled. Apparently, but it's like bad luck to cheers with water or whatever.
Whatever. It's on a podcast. I don't give a fuck. Sometimes I just wasn't being a hydrated bitch, and sometimes I need water, so we're gonna...
You know what I mean? I definitely need some water today, though. Like I mean, what happens not well yesterday.
I feel like that's a very non-inclusive rule, because what happens if you're sober?
What happens if you're sober? That's true. That's freaking true. It's not cool. They could change that rule or that superstition.
Hello, how are you? Oh wait, I'm Lorrie. God, I never say my goddamn name.
And I'm Mel. Welcome to the pod and welcome to the chaos. How are you?
I'm alright. I just got back yesterday with Charlie. We went.
How was your weekend?
We went glamping in the Catskills area. Maybe like slightly outside of the Catskills, but because my landlord has that upstate property, and it was cool. It was really nice.
Yeah.
There was like we stayed in. They're mostly like glamping tents, but there was one like small little cottage too. It's at the very top of like this big ass hill. We had to climb a lot of stairs, but it was like the prettiest view, so we decided that's the one we were staying in. And that was our exercise for the week, for a few days, was going up these fucking stairs. There's a lot of them, but I was like, I started trying to work out. I just started working out anyway, so I guess this is gonna be my workout. I feel like I also slightly...
How's yoga going?
Good. I told you my mobility is horrendous, especially my hip mobility. One of the first classes that I did fine. I've done yoga before, and I could do most of the stuff, but there's a couple, I guess that day we were really, trying to open up the hips, which obviously is my worst area, and I was like, there's one, I just had to get up for a second to shake it off and, go back in. She did ask me, she's like, oh, are you doing all right? And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm good. I just, have not stretched my body in, forever, so... that's it.
That's how it usually goes.
Excuse me.
Oh, bless you. That's good.
But glamping was good and it was nice. It did storm on Friday. How was it in New York City? Did it rain or anything, or Friday?
It rained on Friday. Yeah, it rained on Friday. It rained sporadically on Friday. Because the last couple of days it had been a little nasty and cold. On Thursday, it was cold. It was
because it's supposed to be a hurricane that's coming from lower of the East Coast and just kind of letting off on the rest of the East Coast. That's why we had a storm warning. It was pouring Friday most of the day till about 6:30 p.m. So we're in this little cottage on the top of a hill, a big ass hill, and it's it's pretty clear, and there's decks with tables and a bunch of stuff. It's because it's also an event space, right? And there's a bunch of trees, and you could see just the rain pouring. We lost power for a little bit, so we were just kind of chilling. I took a nap. My phone was charged. Our stuff was charged from the night before. And the cottage that we're in is big ass windows. The bed faces the window, and there's another big ass window to your left, and a couple of small windows.
Your story. It looks so pretty.
But you can see the rain coming down, and there's one point where it got windy as fuck because you could see the trees just. I mean, luckily the cottage is pretty solid. It didn't really notice it, but outside you can see all the trees and shit. It is a glamping site, so there isn't bathrooms, obviously, for tents in the cottage. They're in the main house or the barn that's in the main. That's the common area, I guess, because there's 5 different tents and then the cottage, so that makes 6 different spots. But so it's a shared space. You can use the showers and the bathrooms, whatever. But that's all the way at the bottom of the hill, and we're at the top.
Yeah.
And during the rain, I was like, oh man, this is gonna suck when I have to pee. And I was like, I wouldn't mind the rain that much, but it's windy as fuck outside, and I don't trust my ass going down this hill with that wind. It's gonna fucking push me over. But yeah, we did a bunch of stuff. Cool. We went to an animal adventure park, and across the street they have the preserve where you drive through and you feed the aminals from your car. That's the video of Charlie freaking out over the reindeer.
Oh, it's so cute.
She was so excited, and it was just fun because we've been laughing at that clip for like the last 2 days. Just, it's a reindeer! It's a reindeer!
It's a reindeer! It's a reindeer! Blitzen! Blitzen! No! You're Blitzen. Blitzen! No!
we saw another reindeer, and she was like, Vixen! We just like feed park, and you could feed more animals there too, and it's like a small zoo basically. We fed some giraffes, stuff like that, and then we went on the railroad thing, and it's like you basically bike on this thing. It's electric, so like it's not like we're putting that much effort in it. We're just pedaling to power the motor, and it's like on an old railroad thing, and you go for like 6 miles one way and then turn back and 6 miles the other way. And it was really nice.
Cute. I love that. Oh, so overall, good time.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, yesterday, Travis and I went to see The Notebook on Broadway.
Mm-hmm. How was it?
That was really cute. I mean, I left there with a headache with the crying that I did. Like, it was just like when I'm telling you, like, I was sobbing the whole, like, probably towards the end of it, I was sobbing, but throughout the whole show, I was crying. Like from the very the opening number, I was like teary-eyed already. And it's The Notebook, and it's sad. But it was Travis's first Broadway show, so it was a really fun time. Thank you, my love. Cheers, part 2.
Cheers, part 2. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, Charlie sobbed during Hadestown when we first watched it. So, you know, I've seen the crying at a show.
Yeah. I feel like The Notebook is like, I don't know. I'm a crier. You know, I just feel like that's like a thing. That's a part of my personality. I cry. But I think this show, it's the most I've ever cried at a Broadway show. Like, it was just like very, very sad. And the concept is really, really cool. Like, I've seen the movie, obviously, but I hadn't seen it in such a long time that I forgot a whole bunch of details. And this is Travis's, like, one of his favorite movies. And, like, I was asking him throughout the show, I was like, you know, does this, like, fit? Because I forgot a lot of it. And he was like, no, it fit. Like, of course, they took some things out to match the stage production and what it would make sense to do. But a lot of it fit. And they were kind of like, they had a younger actor play, like, the older man. And then, like, the middle-aged person play the like, they're like different types of characters for different parts of their lives. And it just went so well. The music was really good because it was written by Ingrid Michaelson. Mm-hmm. So it was just like, it was just really nice. Like, the big solo was from this girl. Her name is Joy Wood, and she played Allie, like middle Allie. So she was like the older version of her, and she blew it out the water. Like, oh my God, I feel like Charlie would love her. But it was a really good show overall. Very good, very good. But compared to the other shows I've seen, I definitely give it like a solid 7.
Good.
But yeah, it was a really nice time. Then we went to this restaurant called Osteria. I don't know. Have you been? It's like on a restaurant row.
Oh yeah. No, I know that street. Yeah.
It was good. It was just kind of like the entrees were a little disappointing. The appetizers were good, but yeah. And then we went to this other place called Bodega 7th and 9th, I think. But there was another Mexican place there before. But no, it's called Bodega, and it looks like a, you know, like yellow, and inside there's like a stuffed cat, a stuffed bodega cat, like on the shelf.
That's cute.
There were like detergents and cereal, like Fruit Loops.
That's kind of cute. I mean, I like that they really went into the theme there. I used to enjoy when brands really go into a theme. And I remember there used to be this clothing brand that I used to like love, but I don't even know if they're in business anymore. Who knows? It was like Johnny Cupcakes, and he had this whole concept that like his when he finally got like a store, it looked like a bakery. It had like little ovens holding the shirts and stuff, and like a bunch of and it looked like a kitchen. But like a cartoony kitchen, but a kitchen, you know. I love a good theme.
A good theme goes a long way for me. Like you know your audience. You know your audience.
I think people will appreciate a fun little story and cuteness. I also feel
like that's such a millennial thing. Like
themes,
Don't you think it's a millennial thing? Like, maybe. Yes, get me with your little like cupcake themed retail store. Like,
well,
I like that shit.
I'm also like a designer, so like I like an art student, so obviously like I like that kind of shit. And most of my friends are like theater kids and shit, so a bunch of art people. So yeah, we like that kind of shit. You know?
Yeah. I love all that shit, that artsy fartsy stuff. Give it to me. I'm here for it. But yeah, I got a little mixy with wine and tequila, and got sick last night. Just a little bit, nothing crazy. Just a little bit, nothing crazy. I think, and I had a headache from all the crying, you know? So it's like,
you needed water.
Mixing of the alcohol. Yeah, I did. Did I drink enough? I didn't. But that was my mistake.
You cried out all of your body moisture.
I sure did. There was no more tears left to cry, truly. And then when I got back home, like the headache just like worsened and worsened and worsened. And I was like, wow, I need Vicks, I need Advil, I need all
Whenever anyone mentions Vicks, though, I feel very Filipino, and you're just like, do you need Vicks? You're sick, you need Vicks.
Do you have any kind of ailment, Vicks?
Vicks. You're going to get Vicks.
That just feels very Dominican to me. Oh, yeah. Right. So the Dominican
I don't know. I can't do a Dominican accent. Mine is with... So Filipinos and Dominicans are the same. Then you just use Vicks or you spray Windex on something. I don't know.
Real quick. The Dominican parade was yesterday in the city. And I didn't realize that was the day. And my mom reminded me that the Dominican parade was this weekend. But I got tickets for the show on Sunday, yesterday. And while we were watching the show, in the middle of the show, we just hear Bad Bunny outside blasting. Like, when I tell you,
that's hilarious.
It was so loud that in the theater, we heard the boom vibrating throughout the theater. Like, we were in the theater, we heard that shit. That shit was loud. Bad Bunny blasting. And not once, but twice. I was like, nah, this is mad annoying. Why are the so annoying? Why are my people? You know? But it was like, fuck it. It only lasted for like 2-3 minutes, but I was like, oh my. But that shit was crazy. The white people behind me were like, oh my God, that is so rude. That is so rude. But yeah, that was kind of funny.
Anywho, I have no transition into the topic, but that's okay.
Anywho, no segue. How about them tech outages, huh?
Well, so during the storm, like I said, we lost power. And then the next city over in Walton, we went over there because we had to like get some stuff anyways, like at a store. And we figured maybe we just grab some food since we didn't really have any power, and I didn't really have any groceries left. But yeah, the whole town had no power. We did walk into like the restaurant that we were gonna go to, and they're like, there's no power, but if you have cash, we're just having drinks at the bar. And I wish we had cash, because honestly it seemed like a vibe. They seemed really nice. They were like, yeah, come on in. And I was like, shit, I don't have cash.
Aww,
you know, and stuff like that. We had to go to another city the opposite way to get some food and get some power and go to a Walgreens and stuff. But
right.
in terms of tech and power, I mean, obviously technology is like a huge part of our world, and like I'm a person who enjoys like advancements in technology and seeing how things progress. But I also feel like there's a lot of random shit out there that was never asked for. Or
not
just
at
like,
all.
or also just like our complete reliance on tech and how people. I've just noticed. I mean, including myself, but maybe because I have like a million hobbies, I have a lot of random skills. I can start a campfire if I need to, and I know a good amount about foraging, and I don't really know why. The thing is, I learned that stuff on the internet, which is the funny part. But also being outside and being someone who has gone camping multiple times in my life, you just learn a few things. But I feel like there's so much reliance on technology sometimes that like people kind of lose themselves in it. There's obviously a lot of pros and cons to certain things, but I feel like it's been happening for decades and not just like the current decade, but it's obvious that like people don't have any like physical skills sometimes, depending on what you do. Like sometimes when you're an artist, you have like some other skills, or depending on if you're a trade worker, obviously you have some other skills. But I mean, as like a general learning, did you ever have like home ec classes and like, well, you guys didn't have that in high school? You had to take a home ec class to graduate. You have to take a home ec class, you have to take a government class, and you had to take something else.
No, I went to school in Washington Heights in New York City. So either those classes weren't funded, or maybe they petitioned to have those classes and they didn't give us the money to have those classes, or it just wasn't a thought. I went to a media and communication school where like our foreign language was Spanish, and we lived in Washington Heights. So, you know what I mean? Like there wasn't, it's just like there wasn't like much to learn all that. You know what I mean? Like I don't remember having that class. Like we didn't have that. Like the most different class we ever had was German, and that's because we were in a group that petitioned for that class. But as other classes, we didn't have those other classes. There were 3 other schools in the building that I was school in. So it was like us, media, communication, business, health, and law. And I'm sure that they probably had other classes, but we were in media communication, so like we had maybe like an audio visual class, maybe like a film class where people would watch movies, but there wasn't anything like that. And I think what people are doing now is putting their kids into Montessori schools, I think they're called.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so these schools focus, these schools focus on like trades and like actual technical physical skills that people will use in the real world, that kids will use in the world when they grow up. And I didn't see a lot of that growing up. Like we just had
we had like
normal
wood
curriculum.
Shop. We had like wood shop and some other stuff. And we grew up early 2000s and late 90s, so wood shop was seen as like a boys class. But those classes were that class, I think, is I took a home ec class. I learned how to sew then. I still can sew, but I don't remember as much. I have a sewing machine. I should use it more often. But like you learned how to like do basic sewing. I had guys and girls in class because you had to take this class, and we learned like basic cooking and stuff like that. I mean, just you should. And I went to public school. I'm sure there's like more in-depth classes in other places. But yeah, you learn like basic skills. Just like hard skills. And don't get me wrong, I think that people should learn a mix of hard skills, but also tech skills, because you can't deny that technology is going to be around and that it's going to keep growing. So leaving yourself in a way that you're going to be left behind when tech advances, also isn't great, but you should also like have a good mix of hard skills. You know, I can cook. I'm not like the greatest cook, but I can cook, you know, and bake and
yeah, yeah. But I agree that you do need a variety of skills. I feel like I have a good chunk of some hard skills. Like I know how to sew, but I haven't sewed in a while. I feel like I'm a decent cook. Like I can cook.
At the very least, I can read a recipe and follow the directions. So, you know,
1,000%.
Because honestly, you'd be surprised at how many recipe people.
Follower.
You'd be surprised at how many people cannot like follow directions. I guess because I thought it was simple enough to not to like make fun of people necessarily, but like comprehension skills seem to be an issue. And honestly, I'm
judging you. I'm judging you if you don't follow directions. I'm judging you. I'm sorry.
I'll see like videos I think are funny on the internet or something, and it's people like doing recipes, and I'm just like, bro, there's people who can't like understand the concept of boiling water. It's crazy.
No, that's wild to me. I'm sorry.
I know. Like, it's just. And I feel like
I can't.
I also think there's this inherent fear, especially with technology, or like you can easily go to a restaurant and get stuff, but like it's this inherent fear that I'm not good at it, so I'm not gonna try it. And I sometimes am like that, but like I've tried most things. I have a million hobbies, like I said, and I still do some stuff that I'm not great at, but I enjoy them, so I'll do it sometimes. You know, but. I think with like tech, obviously there's a lot of technology that also helps people with accessibility issues. You know, that is like that's a different story. But like say it's even though technology is advancing, I feel like tech sometimes. You know how, like, your programs on your computer have an update, like, every other fucking month? It's like, bro. And I get some of the updates, like, there are bug fixes and stuff like that. But it's like how, you know, there's a different Photoshop every fucking year. Or, like, different... everything's on a subscription model now, so you have to, like, update it every fucking year. And it's a lot. But I also feel like some stuff, like, they keep making more of, and it'll just, like, not be good. I mean... And just seems like it isn't necessary. It's like my opinion with like AI stuff. Obviously, you and I had said like we use like ChatGPT for like writing a couple of things, you know, but like very simple tasks. But like there's so many AI things, like how there's like the videos that like can be generated, or like AI photos that are obviously AI photos, but the internet and especially boomers always mistake them for real fucking photos on fucking Facebook, and they'll boomers will fucking be like see a military girl in a wheelchair, but she has like 3 arms, but they don't notice that shit, and they're like, "Thank you for your service," and they comment all over, like, you know, that kind of shit.
And it's not. Well, the scary part is that it's not just boomers being fooled. You know, it's a large variety of people. Kind of crazy, you know. Like if you're not careful, you're gonna get fooled, and you're gonna think that shit is real.
I forgot where I saw it on, but shit, I wish I could find the actual fact. I wish I brought it up beforehand, but let me see if I can find it. But it would have been on another podcast, and someone had a guest, and they were like, surprisingly, it's not just boomers, like younger generation. I don't know if they said Gen Z or like our younger kids, but also get fooled by like AI ads and stuff. Let me see. But it's making like social media even harder than it already was with like all this. And this is like my thing with AI, obviously, besides like the art theft of internet artists. Like I saw a post that was like, I thought AI would be something that helped me with my taxes and my paperwork so that I could do art and do other stuff, not AI being something that does my art and I have to do the dishes and my own taxes and other things. You know, it was supposed to be something that was freeing for people so that we could do other stuff. But I just feel like companies honestly just want to try to make shit cheaper for themselves and like do all this dumbass AI shit. And that's where AI is like, I think it's a great concepting tool, but you know, people aren't going to use it for what it was meant for. They're going to keep doing these things and abusing it, you know, having too much of a good thing situation.
Yeah.
And then
right.
People get
Like,
fooled by AI now because we use so much technology and so immersed on the internet all the time that they just get fooled by these fucking like spammer ads and shit, which is crazy. I think it's because millennials and probably Gen Xers, internet and video games very much was developing in the 80s, but like came into full effect in the late 90s. I had a Macintosh 98 computer. And I used to play educational games on them as a kid, you know, and we kind of grew up with like the phishing scams and all the other stuff. So it was like, oh yeah. So we're actually just very paranoid. But, you know, paranoia helps us with AI shit, you know?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
We're just paranoid and have a lot of anxiety. And who knew that would benefit us at all? I mean, it's a detriment to our mental health, but it also sort of helps us, I
guess. Maybe a little bit.
I mean, but you can tell that we were relying so much on tech that people will get fooled by stuff like an AI kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, I think it's tough. I think that if we're talking about technology and its intended use and what people hope the technology that they create will be of use, so sure. I think it's never for the intent. I think most people and most creators thought that when the internet, people would use, you know, for business and all that stuff, but you know, there's always a dark side. There's always a dark side to whatever good thing is gonna come by, I think. And then picking back of what you said about how, like, you know, these new technologies are coming around, they're updated and everything. And I think that when people create these technologies, they don't create them for them to last. I think this is all very much part of capitalism. How, you know, things and like technologies and everything that we used to create back then lasted a lot longer. And now this is like everything's built to be broken.
Yeah.
So that people could keep consuming, buying and buying and buying.
Well, it's capitalism and overconsumption, right?
Right. It's like the iPhone. We're at iPhone 15 now. Phones, like, they keep, like, the updates are not really updating as well as they should, because why do I have to change my phone every year? Why do I have to update my phone every year? Why can't I just have my phone for a good, like, 5, 6, 7 years? Why do I have to change it all the time? You know, like, I think that, and then there's another thing about capitalism, how, like, you always want to stay on top of the trends, stay on top of everything. You know, social media doesn't help that. You know, people are always thinking about what's the next latest thing, what's the next thing that I can hop on, like, and that just goes for everything, like new headphones, like new TVs. What's the next thing? Like OLED, like what's next after that? Like TV that you can fucking feel, that you can taste. Like
that would scare me.
It's never ending.
I don't know if I want that. That sounds terrifying.
Television. There's always gonna be such a next big thing, you know, and humans are just conditioned to want more. That's just like the nature of a human, to want more and more and more. And you gotta sort of ask yourself, where does it stop? You know, like, as far as technology, I feel like technology is ever growing and just consuming every part of our lives all the time. Like, when are we gonna start seeing the dark side? Like, how long is that gonna take until we see that?
I mean, we already live in a Black Mirror episode, I feel like, for the most part.
We do.
I feel like stuff always happens where I'm like, oh, this is Black Mirror for sure. Admittedly, I do have a lot of tech things. I just have a million hobbies, and I do a lot of art stuff. And I know I've overconsumed, and I'm trying to, like, think about that more. You know, I'm even trying to, like, sell stuff that I had and stuff like that as an impulse buyer, too, because, like, I'm very ADHD, and I also think part of, like, some other mental things that I'm very impulse buyer. Well, not really. I'm half and half. Because there's also the other side where I research everything so much that I won't buy the thing for a while. But I also kind of want to make sure that I can use the thing for a while.
Yeah.
And the only time
and
I
then
really
you also buy like secondhand too. You buy off of eBay.
Oh, well,
like...
when I was younger though, when I was like in my 20s and going to a digital art school, I wanted like the newest thing. Like when I got my camera, it was like one of the newer cameras because I wanted to do more photography and video. And like always bought things new, like tech things new and other stuff. I just learned over time for one, it was just like I don't need everything brand new. And the Asian part of me wants to get a good deal. You know?
Hello.
But yeah, I buy like secondhand, like I use eBay a lot. I buy stuff on Craigslist a lot. I've taken free shit from people. And a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, I do a lot of research before I like get stuff. And really my impulse buys are like geek and nerd shit, like art. Like some nerd art from a convention and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, and food. I buy a lot of food.
Hello. That's my impulse buy. That's what I'm gonna impulsively buy food.
I like food.
Like at a moment's notice. Yeah, I'm so slow to buy the next like new thing. Like in my eyes, if it works and it's getting me from point A to point B, then I'm a wait. Like so my glasses, like the lens they're broken, really. But
you just put so many fingerprints on that just to show me.
I sure did. I'll wipe them. But but my glasses have been broken for like months now. But because I could just pop the lens in and put them back on and be very, very careful, I'm gonna be okay. And I'm gonna wait to buy my next pair of glasses, which is soon.
I'm buying them have soon. Several pairs of glasses, but I've had most of them for years. I like because I'll buy some new ones like every few years, just because I want something that looks cute or whatever. Like I have a couple different colored ones, but I've had them for a while. Like I have these white ones. I've had these for years. You know, and like some other ones.
I have an issue because my prescription changes like every couple years.
Oh,
so like
my eyes don't.
Yeah.
They haven't changed
I get
much.
just a little blinder every couple years.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, just a little bit. Not too much. Like the last time I did an exam, which was 2 years ago, I just moved up like 0.25 this year. So it wasn't that bad, thankfully. But yeah, I'll sit on my stuff. Like I just got the new iPhone last year, the 15 last year.
Yeah, I got
but
the 15.
I had the 11.
It was a free upgrade. So I was
nice, mine too. Whatever. Yeah, I'll sit on stuff for a really long time before I desperately need to get something new.
Have you noticed too? I think what I've been getting annoyed at is like the reliance on everything going online now. For some stuff, it's easy and it's nice. Like I can just renew my license online, and I've been doing that for years, even when I lived in California.
Yeah.
But recently, I had an experience with helping my mom to renew her license, and this is the California system, and I used to live there, obviously, and I used to renew online all the time. But they must have fucking changed shit in the last almost 6 years I've been gone. Because I tried to go on the site, and trying to get her fucking license online was a goddamn nightmare. There was way more steps. Why? And then it just, I don't know, it was trying to make me make an account, so I made an account for my mom. The confirmation email wouldn't go through when I was trying to make an account. The site was down for whatever reason. Or when I had to like wait a week, I had to change her address and whatever. Anyways, I finally get to the point where we fill out all this shit and I'm trying to add it to my cart. And then it doesn't let me go to my cart to pay for the renewal fee. It just kept getting an error. And I was getting so pissed off at this point. I was just like, what the fuck is happening? Anyways, my mom ends up going to the DMV. Like, I just told her just go really early or whatever. She gave me a whole explanation, but basically the lady was like, oh, you have to do it online. She was like, and I sent her screenshots of my issues. And we literally went for like 2 weeks of trying to really get the shit to go through online, and it just was not working. And And I'm a relatively tech-savvy person, so I can't even blame my mom for not being able to do it herself, you know? And she's like, look, my daughter tried, she's a screenshot, blah, blah, blah. They did end up helping her, but now she has to wait like 3 weeks to get her fucking license. That's already expired at this point.
Oh my God, how freaking annoying.
And even the lady at the DMV was like, oh yeah, it is really hard to do it online. I'm like, then why do you fucking do it? I was like, I feel like the option to do online is fine, and you can do it. But if you're just a traditional type person and you just want to go fucking early as fuck to the DMV, which I've done, you know, but there's too many 100%. Things like that where you have to do stuff online. It's like when you have to call a customer service and you just get a fucking robot and you try every which way. It's like a puzzle. Like pick your own.
They're like zero. And
I try to just figure out how to get an operator. Like I'm like, if I go here, will I get an operator? If I don't answer, you know, and that kind of shit pisses me off. I feel like doing a lot of stuff online is really great. I mean, renewing my ID online usually is great, but when your system doesn't work and you have not fixed your system, it's just a frustrating experience for everybody, honestly.
Especially when like they just change it and they're like in the like beta testing time. Like I think like if you're still testing this environment, don't launch it. Don't launch it, because if it doesn't, like I'm wondering like how do technology companies test their tech? Like, don't you have to go through a whole bunch of loops and like obstacles and
I also find that like smaller companies and maybe like these smaller government funded stuff, just when they try to put, it's like when people are trying to make a product that they aren't ready for, you know? So they're trying to get updated and going online with certain things, but they didn't do enough research and they're just pushing something out. And so, and that's the problem is just like the need to be online, which you should be. I mean, for certain things, especially if you're a small business or something that you need to have people need to have quick access to. But people don't really do their research. So then the internet is just kind of overrun with like a bunch of businesses that have like these really poorly made websites that don't work right, you know, and because they probably don't have the money. It's just like the DMV is government funded, and so officials need to figure out how to get their shit together, because it doesn't help their workers either. I'm sure DMV people would hate dealing with it, you know.
Of course, everyone just wants everything to work efficiently.
When tech really started advancing more in the beginnings of of an Apple and a Microsoft and other companies, there was a lot of ambition behind it and a lot of cool things came out of it. But I also feel like this race with technology just outputs a bunch of just random shit, but also just like because people feel compelled or forced to have to do it. But I feel like we've lost the vision. We got lost in the sauce. And now there's just like I looked up just for funsies. 32 there's just like weird technologies that never took off. You know, just like random shit that Bluetooth face masks in the world of COVID. And obviously, I mean, there's a lot of like face mask companies that came out, and some of them were actually cool. Like I supported one that was like funding like a charity kind of thing. But it's also like, man, were people expecting COVID to last forever? Granted, it lasted 3 years, so I'll give them that. But the fact that
they were just trying to push anything.
But the fact that, because technology stuff too has to go through a lot of layers and a lot of people, so it's not like an immediate idea to fruition kind of situation, you know? It's going to take a while.
Yeah, for sure. What else?
In the world of video games, Steam machines. Steam is many years ago, I remember this because I used to be excited for it, they were going to make a console. Granted, they have the Steam Deck now, but it's not...
Yeah, the deck.
Though I heard it is good. I mean, it's basically what a Nintendo Switch is, but and I have a Switch, but I would rather get a PC and then instead of getting another travel size player thing, you know.
Yeah.
But they just never came out with it. Oh, mono wheels. You remember these? It's like just a wheel. Let me see if I can. How do I do this? Here you go. You remember these?
Oh my god, right, those. That's funny.
I don't know where we would even use these.
Honestly, they don't look safe. I'll say that.
Oh, AR glasses. I remember like Google glasses and stuff where they try to do that.
Yeah.
That was very Black Mirror.
I remember that was a thing.
But
I was gonna say that gave Black Mirror for sure.
But also, like, as an eyeglass wearer, because I am blind. Well, not blind, but I have bad vision. But I don't want that.
Yeah, I'm good off that.
Also, it's too much in my eyes. But also, everyone's gonna be wearing glasses now. You wanna I don't always wear contacts because honestly, 100%, I'm too lazy to put them in and take them out. But like as a glasses wearer, having to have them for like a tech thing, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think smartwatches are silly. I'm not a fan of them personally. But, you know, if you do have your uses for them, that's cool. I'm not judging you. Just personally for me, there's no reason why I need to have my messages on my wrist. I already want to ignore your messages. If you're not like my friend trying to hit me up, if it's like a work message, I don't want to fucking look at it. You know, I also don't really wear watches, but it's just like, I don't understand the actual use of them because you still need your phone on you in order to use it. So I don't get it. Sorry, I am a smartwatch hater.
Unless you have like so people pay for like line too. Yeah. Like if
you can get a line on
your phone is.
But that's just another expense that I don't need.
Yeah, I have a smartwatch and so I have a line on mine too because like it's fine. Because when I went to get this phone, they were like, "Oh, you can get a watch for free," and I was like,
"Okay, if you don't give it to me for free."
If you're giving it to me for free, then I'll take it.
Look, I'll take anything for free. But I'm going to be honest with you. It's probably just going to sit there and not be used, and I would just sell it.
I use it. My favorite part of my smartwatch is for workouts, for like the gym. And sometimes, like I forgot my charger on Friday, and I haven't used my watch in a few days. Sometimes, like I'll forget to charge it. And I won't use it, but I'll get tight that I didn't charge it. Like that's the only reason why I love it so much, really. Because if anything else, I'm like I have to use it on that.
It still seems you didn't pay for it, but like it still seems just like an overpriced like because I've seen like not really smartwatches that existed before. Where you could use them specifically for workouts, and they're not smartwatches because they're just like they're specifically like my sister got a thing for my dad. It was basically like a glorified pedometer, but it doesn't have to be connected to your phone. It just has like certain workout things for it because he likes to go on walks. He likes to time them and stuff and see how far he walked. Yeah. That's really like all he uses it for. But there's also like workout settings. But like a smartwatch just seems like a really glorified pedometer to me because most people do use it for working out. I don't know. I don't get the point of it. In all honesty.
That's fair. Like I'm telling you, like I didn't get it because like I was like, oh my god, give it to me. You know what I mean? Like I
offered it for free. People like go out to buy these things, you know. And then they get like their Apple Watch bands that are like they bought that's like a different color.
I just have never like worn watches at all. So when they give it to me, I was just kind of like, you know what? Maybe I'll fuck with it. And like the band that it comes with, it's very hard and like very like annoying. So I had to get stretchy bands so that I could comfortably
I feel like you
watch.
have to because I have seen those bands and I feel like you have to get a new band for it.
I had to.
And I feel like they do that shit on purpose.
Like that,
it's another consumer thing. They make you buy more stuff for your thing.
That's exactly. I was talking to Travis about this the other day because a thing for everything, like Stanley cups, right? You know the Stanley cups.
Oh, girl, I know. Yeah. All the accessories you can get for them.
So while we were at Michael's, right, buying stuff for our new, we're gonna get into polymer clay magnet making. That's our new hobby. So we were there to get some clay and buy the line, and I saw the Stanley cups, and then also like these vinyl stickers that you can put on the Stanley cups.
Yeah, so I've seen those.
Personalize them and
There's
customize them. And I was
all
like,
small businesses that cater to the.
I was like,
the white women of the world. I feel like it's like that mom,
oh my god,
or like the college girly, or the mom at home who,
or the stay-at-home mom who loves her stationery and does ASMR videos that involve cleaning and organizing and storage. Like that's that mom. That's her.
I didn't get the hype over Stanley Cups either. It's so crazy to me. They're supposed to be better for the environment because they're reusable, but the whole point of a reusable cup is that it's reusable. You're not supposed to buy 40 fucking Stanley Cups.
It's crazy. I've seen Stanley Cups with like an attachment on top so that you could like put snacks.
I've seen it.
Fruits and bullshit.
I've seen everything.
Have you seen those? There's like
charms for them. People make like these charms that fit perfectly over the straw into like this little groove of the Stanley Cup or whatever. It's wild. It's a lot of stuff, but like
it's just too much.
We are going a little over. Is there any comments or anything like for you when it comes to technology, or if it's a piece of technology maybe that you find superfluous, or just a general comment about tech and how we're so dependent on it, honestly?
So many things. It's just too many things to pick. I think that we need to stop letting capitalism take advantage, because that's what's happening. The overconsumption is at an all-time high. I remember a documentary a long time, like the minimalism documentary. I don't know if you saw it. But it just showed you how to live a minimal life. And I think that there are steps that we are doing in order to get to that. Like, when people barter, when people like clothes swap, or like, when like people are like tech swapping and stuff like that. I think that it's more of that needs to happen so that we're not just buying into capitalism even more. I think there are just like a lot of unnecessary things that we buy ourselves, and it's just like it's ads, it's advertising, it's marketing, it's all of it is playing into you buying more tech, and like you don't need to, like the whole, like, have you seen the screen that like you can work out from home, and it's like an in-home personal trainer?
The big mirror things.
Yeah, like that stuff. I'm like, that feels very Black Mirror, because
that's super Black Mirror. Yeah,
like that is just like, go to the gym, or why don't you just actually get a personal trainer? Like, and I know that there's so many reasons why you to get that, why that would be more beneficial for you as far as like scheduling or like busy lives and stuff like that. But I think that all this technology is giving us more reasons to connect less, connect less with like actual real people. Going back to our episode about parasocial relationships and stuff, I think that definitely plays a part into this, and how we just want to connect with whatever we see on the screen, and, our little gadgets and tools and stuff. And it's just taking us away from connecting with actual real life. And I think that it's an important thing to have. We can't live without it, but we can also balance the time that we spend on it and spend with it, and start connecting with actual real life.
Well, I mean, I mentioned last episode too with parasocial stuff, is that COVID really, I feel like no one has social skills anymore, or like has deeply affected social skills and how to even interact with people anymore. So like, yeah, interact with people a little bit more. I will say I do like working from home, so I will continue immersing in technology on a Zoom meeting. But like,
but that's what it is. using text to connect with
I
real
will say
people,
there
though.
is
Like,
I don't know, this might be going slightly off topic. When you were mentioning minimalism and stuff, I do agree with like watching how your overconsumption affects things, but there's also there's another podcast, sounds like a cult, and one of them is the cult of minimalism, and another one's the cult of fast fashion. And I think those are two interesting subjects in terms of what you're talking about, because minimalism, yes, can be good, but there is a point where people almost make it like taking minimalism too far is more like when you start shaming people why they aren't being minimalistic. But also like don't get me wrong, there's things that other people wouldn't consider necessarily or don't think they would want, but I would personally need, because like say there's a thing that helps you with your extremely busy day and it just helps things a little easier, but other people are like, oh, that's too much. I think everything's really subjective. So I will say for other people like listening to this, I think you should very much think of your own consumption and think about what, where you get things and what you do, and how they are in your life. But I also don't want the part where people start shaming other people, unless that person's being a complete fucking asshole. But like, you're not any better than anybody else either, just because you adopt a certain way of living or anything like that. Like, get off your high horse kind of situation, which they do talk about in those two episodes of Sounds Like a Cult. Fast fashion specifically, the girl that they have as the woman that they have as a guest, talks at the very end about how like mentally like fast fashion is terrible, but also like but you also should consume what works for you, because sometimes maybe you have to turn to a cheaper thing temporarily because of your situation or whatever it is. People can't just automatically drop all the stuff that they have to go into minimalism, but there's also other things that help other people. I also notice on the internet there's this trend when there's like a certain technology or an apparatus of some sort that, I don't know, helps you put your socks on or something simple, and people are like, this is stupid. People are always making up stuff that we don't need, but why is because they're also looking at it like, people need accessibility types of objects as well. There are people with mobility issues or other things, and I think before you judge a thing, do think about it. Unless it's a Cybertruck, absolutely hate on it and give people shit for that. Absolutely talk shit about that. But like, I just think don't feel pressure, but just think of how your own life is, how your consumption is, and if it's necessary, and if there's small steps you can take to do certain things. Like me, I still consume, and I am still, learning my own way of like getting rid of possessions and like maybe not having as much stuff. It's a slow going thing, but I just and because I made that comment about Cybertrucks, I just want to say that a piece of technology in the world in that list of weird technologies that shouldn't have taken off, Cybertruck, because they suck. I follow this account where they basically they talk about pavement princesses, which is usually like big ass modded trucks that people don't actually need and take up way too much space, or trucks that have low visibility so they're actually dangerous and stuff like that. But they definitely hate on Cybertrucks a lot because they're a piece of shit, because they rust in the rain. They can't get over terrain that of fucking Honda Civic could probably get over. And all of the Elon Musk bros are like, oh, comes in so clutch at Costco or whatever, and they put like this load in. I was like, and there was a video of that same account that was like, dude, a Honda Fit can fit this much stuff in their car because the seats go down. And they're like, you could get any other car instead of just buying a $120,000 Costco goer. Also, if you're going to Costco and you spent $120,000 on a Cybertruck, I think you missed the point.
Right. You're fucking up. You're already fucking up.
It's just a piece of tech that I like to hate on because it's stupid. And all the Elon Musk bros trying to defend their fucking
their leader,
tank of disgustingness. I mean, the car sucks. It's literally it's not even allowed in like certain countries because it's a piece of shit.
So stupid. I don't support anything Elon Musk does.
Also, you can't tow a truck with it because
him.
the bumper's basically made out of plastic and thin sheets of steel. That's it. And it's held on by one little piece that holds the back bumper. Because there's this guy, I think I don't know what his channel's about. I only saw the videos with the Cybertruck and this Ford F-150. He's comparing the two, essentially. What I assume is that he gets cars and just puts them through a bunch of fucking shit to see if they work. And he was doing the Cybertruck, the Ford truck, and like gets the side mirror and like pulls on it, see how it does. He was like, all right, pretty solid. Does it Cybertruck and rips it off.
Ah!
The side paneling, some of the paneling on the Cybertruck just peels off.
The things that this man can get away with, like Tesla in general is.
I think electric cars are interesting concept, but like, I hate Teslas. Mostly because the company's stupid and I hate Elon Musk. And there's other,
I don't like him.
What's funny is that a lot of electric car companies are actually surpassing him. There's a very specific Chinese company that has like really great electric cars, and a couple other companies that have come up with better cars in the time that he's just put this bullshit piece of a cyber shit into the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's a billionaire.
I'm sure.
He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care about any of you tech bros. Dude, this is my Cybertruck rant. There's this video of this dude. He was like, Cybertruck is the best. It is the fully American truck, blah, blah, blah. And he walks on it and he walks onto like the windshield to the top. And he's like, solid, blah, blah, blah. But you can see in the video when he steps on the windshield, it cracks under his foot.
Well, if we want to compare this Cybertruck to America, give it to them. Give it to them. If it's the American vehicle, we give it to you.
Which means I don't know if I trust this car. Like what the fuck? I just fucking hate them.
Yo.
I forgot we were talking about technology, and I just thought about the Cybertruck thing, and I was like, oh my god, wait, I need to do a rant on it because I fucking hate these cars.
What a good place to end.
Anyways, I feel like we're a little all over the place, but I think our general consensus is just, technology, you should know it and learn it, but also know when it's too much or it doesn't even really have any use. I mean, make use of what we have and keep yourself updated with things just so you're not lost in the past with certain things, but also go out and learn more like hard skills,
Right, exactly.
Just general stuff.
Have a good balance of have a good balance of your survival skills. Both are going to be necessary. Who knows what's going to happen in the next decade? Who knows what's going to happen in the next few months? Election day. And stay informed, identify what you want, what you need, and what you really should have, and how it'll impact your life and your daily life in general, and just go with that.
Also, encourage other people to look into it, but don't shame people because they don't fucking filter their own piss and drink it,
And that's that.
I don't know why that wouldn't came out, but
filter your own piss and drink it if you want.
I was trying to think of the most. I don't think that's minimalistic, to be honest, because you do have to filter it.
Ew.
I don't know why they came to my head, but that's where my brain went.
There's
probably better comments than that one, but I don't know. That's what came out of my mouth just now. Anyways, but don't shame people just because they're not on your level of minimalism or whatever it is. I think it's more about educating people, and educating yourself and doing your own thing. Doing also what you can do within your control as well, because not everyone has the same means.
100%.
But so thanks for coming to our random rants and listening to my Cybertruck rant as well. I hope you hate them too as well. Also, please comment and tell me how much you hate them, because it'll make me giggle.
Please send us an email about how much you hate them too.
Yeah, you can listen and watch this episode on Spotify and YouTube. You can interact with us on TikTok and Instagram, mostly TikTok. Or send us an email at 30dirtythoughtin@gmail.com. But yeah, or comment on our YouTube video. Again, that's where you could put your Cybertruck hate on. That'd be fun.
Please.
Thank you for coming. And yeah, join us for more episodes. We'll have another episode in 2 weeks. It's every other Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Farewell. Bye. Bye.
Farewell.